Good morning, morning, morning. Sometimes I run into these technical difficulties, which is one of these mornings, right? So you guys see the thumbnail and you see the moniker. Please come in and hit the like, share, and subscribe. Candace Owens, she needs to stop whining. You asked for this, Candace Owens, and I don't want to hear nothing about how disappointed you are in Donald Trump. I don't want to hear about how he betrayed the people who voted for him, about how you're so disappointed in what he has done so far. I don't want to hear about how you don't recognize him anymore. And I damn sure don't want to hear you suddenly warning everybody about grifters. This is wild. Let's listen.
Again, obviously, but would you support him publicly again?
So I want to be clear. I don't regret voting for Donald Trump above Kamala. I think he was the better candidate, certainly a better candidate above Joe Biden. But what I will say is that he's been a chronic disappointment, and I feel embarrassed that I told people to go vote for him because this wasn't going to happen, and it is happening.
See, she can say that now, right? You didn't just vote for Donald Trump. You sold Donald Trump. You sold him to black people who already knew exactly who he was. You stood in front of the cameras, got on stages, built Blexit, and told us that we were the ones who couldn't see straight. We were brainwashed. We were stuck on a Democratic plantation. We were voting against our own self-interest. You, Candace, had it all figured out, and the rest of us were just too stupid to understand Donald Trump. Remember that? Because I remember. And now here you come, looking around at Donald Trump and the people around him, talking about betrayal and broken promises and lies and grifters like you just stumbled into the wrong room. Candace Owens, you helped decorate this room that Donald Trump arrived in. You knew who these people were. You worked with these people. You stood beside them. You defended them. You made money telling other people, specifically other black people, not to believe what they could see with their own eyes. So I'm not buying this idea that one day you woke up and looked around and suddenly discovered that something was wrong with Donald Trump. No, I think something else happened. I think you, Candace Owens, caught whiff of the tides turning. I think she looked around and realized that the audience was changing. People were getting tired. People were asking questions. The same old Maga sales pitch wasn't hitting the same way it used to. And Candace Owens knows how to read a room. And when Candace feels the room is moving, she starts moving too. So this ain't a redemption story. I'm not here to congratulate Candace Owens for finally seeing the light. I don't think she saw the light. I think she saw the exit. And now she's trying to reposition herself before the rest of the people she helped sell this mess to figure out what exactly happened. Her and that Megan Kelly. So today, we're going back. We're going to look at what Candace sold us, how hard she sold it, what she said about the people who warned her, and how is it now trying to put distance between herself and the very thing she helped build. Because Candace Owens may not want to move on. But first, we need to talk about the receipts. before Candace Owens starts acting like she was just another voter who got disappointed by a politician. I need us to remember exactly what her role was. Candace did not quietly walk into the voting booth and vote for Donald Trump and go home. She sold him. She got on stages. She went on TV. She sat on interviews. She spoke directly to black people and told us Donald Trump was the answer to a problem she claimed we were too brainwashed to even understand. She did not sell him gently either. Candace built an entire political brand around the idea that black people had been fooled by Democrats, and she was the one who had finally figured it out. The rest of us were trapped on a Democratic plantation. You don't know how many times I heard that. We had a victim mentality. We were too emotional. We were too loyal. We kept voting for Democrats because we were too scared to think for ourselves. But Candace was free. She was the free thinker. She was the one who had escaped the Democratic plantation. And Donald Trump was the man she wanted the rest of us to follow, right behind her ass.
30 years of your life when you had children.
Hold on.
Kids can seriously mess up with your plans. I just want you to know that.
How many? You got 5?
5, yeah.
Oh, 6 then.
You gotta outdo me. That's a battle I might want you to win. Now, okay, so you write this book. I'm not gonna ask you how old you are, but
31.
20 years. That's what I figured. 20 years from now, what do you think you're gonna be doing?
I don't know, and the reason why I stopped guessing is because you had told me 6 years ago that I'd be a conservative, a Republican, and supporting Donald Trump for president. I would have thought you were crazy and that you were, on drugs. So I think it's all in God's hands, and I'm just doing what I believe is right every single day, working incredibly hard. My focus, obviously, for November is to make sure that we secure another 4 years for Donald Trump. I think the whole of Western civilization depends on it. But I'm one foot in front of the other and living my best life, and I'm optimistic every single day that we're winning. 30 years of your life when you had children.
So that's where Blexit came from. She did not just support Donald Trump. She built a whole movement around getting black people to leave the Democratic Party, and Trump was standing right there at the center of that sales pitch. And let me be clear about something. I'm not mad at anybody for leaving the Democratic Party. If you think Democrats have failed you, if you think Democrats have taken black voters for granted, then say that too. Hell, I have said it myself sometime. But that is not what Candace did. Candace took every legitimate frustration black people had with Democrats and used it to sell Donald Trump. That was the trick. She would tell black people, Democrats ain't done nothing for you. And that part might be true. I'm not saying it's not. Then she would jump from that to, therefore, Donald Trump is the answer. Wait a minute. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button, please, and thank you. Those are two totally, completely different arguments. Democrats failing black people does not automatically make Donald Trump good for black people. I don't think he is good for black people. But Candace never wanted to sit in that middle long enough for people to ask questions. She had a product to sell, and the product was Donald Trump. Okay? She told people his policies were working. She told people that media was lying about him. She defended him against the charges of racism. Hold on. She told black people that we needed to stop being emotional and look at the results. What results? Every time Trump said something crazy and outrageous, Candace had an explanation. Every time somebody warned us about him, Candace had a reason we should not listen. Every time black people said, we know what we're looking at. You don't need to explain to us what we're saying. Candace would tell us we didn't know what we was looking at. That is what makes all this whining she got to do now so hard for me to listen to, because Candace did not lack information. This woman had more access than most of the people she was preaching to. She was in the rooms. She knew the people. She met Donald Trump. She worked inside the conservative movement. She had access to politicians, donors, media people, activists, backroom conversations, all the folks behind the scenes. And with all that access, she came back to us and said, trust me, Donald Trump is the one for you. Trust me. That's what she said to black people. That's what she said. Okay? Trust me. Don't trust the media. Don't trust the Democrats. Don't trust the black leaders. Don't even trust your own eyes. Trust Candace. And a whole lot of people trusted Candace. Now I want to be fair about one thing. Candace Owens did not single-handedly elect Donald Trump. That would be fucking ridiculous. But she absolutely helped make him more acceptable to an audience he wanted to reach. She gave him something valuable. She gave him a black woman who could stand in front of the camera and say, no, he ain't racist. You people are the problem. He ain't the problem. All y'all black people are the problem. Do you understand how useful that was? Donald Trump did not have to answer every criticism coming from Black America because Candace would answer it for him. He didn't have to explain why black people should trust him because Candace would explain it for him. He did not have to convince us that our concerns were foolish because Candace was the one that was willing to do it. And she was rewarded for it. Y'all hit the like, share, and subscribe button, please, and thank you. Her platform grew. Her name got bigger. Her audience got bigger. Her influence got bigger. The more outrageous she became, the more attention she got. The more she attacked black people, the more valuable she became to a movement that loved having loved having a black woman tell other black women or other black people to shut up and stop complaining. And Candace knew exactly what her role was. So when I hear her today talking about Donald Trump like she was standing on the sidewalk with the rest of us watching all this shit happen, shut your ass up, girl. You were not standing on the sidewalk. You were in the fucking room. You had the microphone and you were selling that fucking car to us black folk. You were selling Donald Trump to us black folk. Now the engine is smoking, the wheels are falling off, and Candace wants to stand there with everybody else talking about, can you believe this? Can you believe this is what happened? Yes, Candace, we can believe it. That is why we did not want to buy the Donald Trump fucking car. And that's the part that makes this worse, because you did not just sell Donald Trump. She went after everybody who refused to deal with Donald Trump. And that is where we're going next. Now, this is the part that really pisses me off, because Candace did not just sell Donald Trump. She went after everybody who refused to buy what she was trying to sell us. That is why I do not have any sympathy for all this whining that she got to do right now. Because when black people told Candace we did not trust Donald Trump. She did not say, I understand why you feel that way, but I disagree. She didn't say that. Oh no, we were brainwashed. We were on a Democratic plantation. We had a victim mentality. We were emotional. We were obsessed with race. We could not think for ourselves. That's all we heard from you. According to her, she had escaped the Democratic plantation, and the rest of us were standing there waiting for Democrats to tell us what to think and do. And she loved saying that. She made a career out of saying that. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button, please, and thank you this morning. She would sit across from white conservatives and explain black people to them like she had been sent down from the mountaintop to explain what the 10 Commandments was to the black people. Black people don't need this. Black people don't need to stop doing it. Black people need to get over this. Black people need to stop blaming racism. Black people need to stop talking about race. And those white conservatives ate that shit up. Y'all ate that shit up. Every time somebody got something negative to say about black folk, y'all be eating that shit up. Instead of looking at the person telling you what's going on and saying, why would she be saying that? Y'all ate that shit up because Candace told y'all exactly what y'all wanted to hear. She told y'all didn't have to listen to black people talking about racism because Candace said racism was not the problem. She told them they did not have to question Donald Trump because Candace said Trump was not the problem. She gave y'all white people permission to dismiss every black person who made them feel uncomfortable. And the whole time, Candace was telling us we were the ones being used. She was standing on stage at Blexit rallies with Donald Trump's name all over her fucking mouth. And she was trying to tell us we were in a cult. We were in a cult. She was telling us we were blindly loyal. She was telling us we were voting against our own interests. She was telling us that we needed to wake up. And now look at you. Now you're the one talking about how disappointed you are. Now you're the one talking about broken promises, Candace Owens. Now you're the one saying Donald Trump betrayed the people who believed in him. Now you're the one looking around Maga talking about grifters. Some of us tried to tell you, Candace Owens, and you didn't want to hear it. That's the part she wants everybody to forget. She had plenty of warnings. This Candace Owens, the grifter. This was not about a situation. This was not about a situation where nobody knew anything about Donald Trump until yesterday. We watched him turn on people who were loyal to him. We saw that. We watched him demand loyalty and give none of it in return. We watched people defend him for years and then get thrown under the fucking bus the minute they stopped being useful to him. We watched him promise people things and then do something else. We watched Donald Trump surround himself with people who knew how to flatter him, use his name, raise money, build audiences, and make themselves rich when they got next to him. None of this was a secret. And every time somebody pointed it out, people like Candace Owens were right there telling everybody not to believe it. No, he ain't stealing from the American people. He wants what's best for the American people. He loves the American people. He'll lie and you will lie too. Hold on.
Ladies, gentlemen, is this a legitimate campaign opener for Biden? And your reaction to the president's comments there? I'll start with you, Shavar.
Well, it's absolutely a legitimate issue. The Charlottesville incident really spoke to the character of President Trump. He said that there was blame to go along on both sides. When clearly we had white nationalists, white supremacists, who caused the death of a person.
Here, Candace.
It's exactly not.
The president called white supremacists fine people. Is that what really happened?
That's exactly not what happened. And you can go and you can look up the full speech of what Trump said. He specifically said, I am not speaking about white supremacists or Nazis. So this is not a legitimate issue at all. And what's really bizarre is that Joe Biden, of all people, would use this as a way to launch his campaign. This is a man who was mentored by Robert Byrd, a literal KKK member. This is a man that said that black people should remain segregated in 1972 because it's what we wanted. He has issues with black America, and I'm really happy to see that people on both sides of the political aisle, black Americans that are Democrat and Republican, have spoken up and pointed out his hypocrisies.
You see the way she sold Donald Trump. That's why I keep coming back to the question, which Donald Trump don't you recognize? I recognize him. I recognize Donald Trump. The man you're complaining about, Candace Owens is complaining about, now looks a whole lot like the man she was trying to sell. The difference is, back then, she liked what he was doing. Or maybe it was not happening to anybody you cared about. Maybe the broken promises were not broken promises. Maybe the people who he was attacking were people you didn't mind seeing attacked. Maybe the people being used were people you thought deserved being used. But now something has changed, according to Candace Owens. And I don't believe for 1 minute that Donald Trump suddenly became Donald Trump and Candace Owens was caught completely off guard by who and what he was. I think Candace Owens knew exactly what kind of movement she was standing in. She knew exactly how Donald Trump was. She knew there was money in outrage and anger and victimhood because she made money in outrage and victimhood. She knew there was money in keeping people angry because she built an audience by keeping people angry. She knew there were people selling fear and anger and conspiracy and resentment because she spent years working right alongside those people. So no, Candace Owens, I'm not buying this bullshit about this innocent little act that you got going on. You do not get to stand in the middle of the in the middle of the casino and play at the tables for years, collect your winnings, get your money, and then suddenly clutch your pearls when you discover the house was built to make money. You knew where you were. The only thing I believe changed is where you decided you needed to stand. Because Candace Owens is not stupid. Y'all got to understand that. I've never thought she was stupid. I think she's very smart, very cunning about one thing in particular. She knows how to read an audience. She knows what people are angry about. She knows what they're tired of hearing. And she knows when they're ready for something new. And almost importantly, she knows when the room is starting to move and shift. So I do not think what we're watching now is Candace Owens growing a conscience about Donald Trump. I think we're watching Candace Owens reposition herself. And that is where this story gets interesting, okay? It ain't her conscience. She don't have a conscience. Now, everybody needs to pay attention to this part because I don't believe Candace Owens woke up one morning and suddenly found that she cared about black folk. I don't think she looked around at Maga and said, oh my God, these poor people, these Maga people, who they're grifters. These people are lying to their audience. These people are making money off fear and outrage and the hating the Democratic Party. Candace, please. You knew what Donald Trump was. You were there. You knew exactly what it was. You know how this business works because you have been one of the best in this business. You know how to take something people are already angry about and turn the anger up. Give them something to blame. Give them people to blame. It was the Democratic Party, right? And you keep them coming back tomorrow for more. So I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Candace got duped. Donald Trump duped her and Megyn Kelly. Oh, no. No, they were grifting. They've been grifting because they have access to these rooms. They have access to Washington, D.C. They have access to people who work around these people. They know exactly what those people in Washington are doing. She knows exactly what Donald Trump is. What I think Candace discovered is that she does not need Donald Trump the way she used to. And that's a completely different thing. There was a time when being close to Donald Trump made Candace bigger and bigger and bigger. She made white people believe her. Talk about the black people, white people gonna listen. Every time y'all hear something negative about black people, you're listening. Specifically when a black person, oh, it's got to be true. Black people saying it about their own black people. It's got to be true. Okay. Defending Donald Trump made Candace a household name. Being one of the loudest black women willing to attack black people on Trump's behalf made her valuable. I could have came on this internet and instantly started talking crazy about black American women or black men or any number of the things that out there that these grifters be talking about. I could have did that too and made plenty of money, got all your money. Candace had Blexit. She had the conservative stage. She had the interview. She had access. She had a whole audience waiting to hear her tell them that they were right and everybody else was stupid. But somewhere along the way, Candace built something of her own audience, her own platform, her own people who were going to follow Candace, whether Donald Trump liked her or not. And once you have your own audience, you don't have to say yes. You don't have to stay close to another person. You don't have to stay close to Donald Trump. You don't have to stay close to the person who helped you build it. You just have to figure out where that audience is going next. And I think that is what Candace is doing and what she has done. She started reading the room. That's what she did. She started noticing that some of the same people who spent years defending everything Donald Trump did were getting tired of defending everything Donald Trump did. People started asking questions. Why didn't he do what he promised to do? He had no intention of This is for the clueless people that are out there. Donald Trump never had any intention of doing anything for you poor people. Let's be clear. If you don't listen to nobody, listen to HQ, because I don't have no reason to lie, right? Donald Trump had no intention of doing anything that you wanted him to do. He's not doing anything in the United States for you. He's doing everything he's doing for his rich donors and the people that tell him what to do. And people say, no, Donald Trump, he's the no. Everything that he has done has not been to the benefit of the poor people. He doesn't have any intention of helping the poor people. That's not how that works. Okay? People have begun to ask questions. Why didn't he do what he promised to do? Because he don't have no intention of doing it. Why are the same insiders still running everything? Because he likes what they do. Because they tell him what to do. Why are people making all this money while the audience keeps getting told to wait? Because that's what he does. Makes money for him and his family and his rich friends around him. And it don't matter about us poor folk. He has no intention of doing anything for poor folk. Why does every promise come with another excuse? Because it does what it does. Candace could feel it. Candace knows it. And instead of waiting for the whole room to turn, she started moving first. That is not courage. That's timing. Because watch how Candace operates. I want to challenge all of y'all. Watch how she operates. She catches the thing while it's still moving. She gets out in front of it, says it louder than everybody else, and then acts like she discovered it. That is talent. I will give her that. But I'm not going to confuse talent with integrity. She has none. Because if this were really about integrity, where is the apology? Where is the apology that she owes to me? Where's the part where Candace says I was wrong? Where's the part where she says to the black community, no, y'all, I saw it wrongly. I saw what he was, and I'm turning around, and I apologize for making y'all vote for him. Where's the apology at? Y'all hit the like, share, and subscribe, please, and thank you. Where's the part where she says, I told millions of people to trust this man, and I should not have done that? Where's the apology? Where's the part where she goes back to all those black folk she mocked and made fun of? All those black folk she called brainwashed. All those black folk she told to wake up and say, maybe I should have listened. Where is that apology to all them people? I ain't heard that yet. What I hear is Candace criticizing Trump. I hear Candace criticizing the people around Trump. I hear Candace talking about betrayal. I hear Candace talking about grifters. But somehow Candace Owens always manages to tell the story in a way where Candace Owens is never the fool. Candace Owens is never the one who's the grifter. She's never the one who got played. She's never the one who helped play everybody else. She's always the one who figured it out. That's repositioning yourself. You don't apologize for the old position. You just start talking from the new one. You don't explain why you were wrong yesterday. You just start acting like you have always understood what is happening today. And if anybody brings up the old clips, she moves past those. No, ma'am, we're not moving past them old clips, girl, because you cannot spend years helping build trust in Donald Trump and then reposition yourself as the person warning everybody about Donald Trump without answering for the first part, without answering for the part where you told me I was on a Democratic plantation because I didn't see him in his racism when I knew the fuck I did see him in his racism. You cannot help sell the tickets and then show up at the destination acting like you were just another passenger. Sit your ass down, girl. You were part of the sales team. Now, I do think there's something else going on with Candace, too. I think some of her thinking is off. I do. I think she spent so many years in a world where everything is a conspiracy. Everybody's hiding something. And Candace is always the one who has uncovered the secret that some of her thinking has gotten downright unhinged. But here's the thing. However far out there Candace may go, she can still see Donald Trump. That's what I'm watching. The cloak, Donald Trump coat is gone. Candace's coat is gone. For years, the black conservatives like Candace could hide behind the same excuses. The media is lying about Donald Trump. Democrats are exaggerating. Black people are brainwashed. They're on the plantation. You don't understand Donald Trump. You're just emotional, black people. Well, what happens when you see it too? What happens when you're the one saying Trump betrayed Maga? What happens when you're the one talking about broken promises that Donald Trump made? What happens when you're the one looking around at the people you helped put in power and call them grifters? You cannot keep telling me I'm imagining something that you are now standing there describing yourself. You're a liar, Candace Owens. And I think that is the trap Candace is in. She can see Trump now, but the money she made supporting that world is too good to give up. The audience is too good. The business is too good. Because what happens if Candace really tells the truth? What if she really tells the truth? Y'all hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Not just the Trump, not that Trump disappointed her, not that he just disappointed her, not just that Trump betrayed MAGA, not just that Trump is doing everything she does not like. What happens if she admits that the whole thing she sold people on was rotten? Then she has to explain her own role in that. And that is the one place Candace will not go. So she has to do this little tap dance. Criticize Trump, but don't leave. Call out the grifters, but don't admit you were part of the fucking grifting machine. Tell everybody something is wrong, but never say the people you mocked were right. Because she wants the freedom to see Trump without giving up the money she made, pretending the rest of us could not see him. And Candace is not the only one. I think there are black people in MAGA right now who know exactly what they're looking at. The excuses are getting harder to make. The cloak is getting harder to hide behind. Because at some point, how many times can you say the media is lying when you're the one telling everybody else something is wrong? How many times can you tell black people they do not understand Donald Trump when you're the one saying he betrayed you? How long can you pretend we cannot see what you are now describing yourself? But walking away means walking away from more than Trump. For most of these people, it means walking away from the audience. These grifters, Candace, people like Candace and Megyn Kelly. The attention, the invitations, the money, and in some cases, the entire identity they built. That is a lot to give up. And some people, just like Tucker, look at Tucker. I apologize for making y'all vote for Donald Trump. It was the worst thing ever, blah, blah, blah. Tucker trying to back up out of his position. And some people will hold on to that lie for a very long time when the lie is paying those damn bills. Look at Megyn Kelly, craving as hell. So Candace does not need to leave MAGA. She does not need to become a Democrat. She does not need to come over here. All she has to do is stand far enough away from Trump to say, see, I'm not one of those MAGA people. I ask questions. I call out the grift. I tell the truth, no matter who it offend. Y'all hit the like, share, and subscribe button, please, and thank you. That's her new position. And it's a very smart position. If Trump stays powerful, she can still agree with him when she wants to. If Trump falls apart, she already has the clip showing that she warned everybody. She gets to keep the audience she built inside the movement while slowly creating distance from the part of the movement that may become harder to defend. That's not a political awakening. That's insurance. And Candace Owens is taking out an insurance policy on whatever comes after Donald Trump. And there it is. Okay? Let me play this clip.
Something happened to Trump, right?
But something happened to all of them.
I wasn't.
Oh, sorry.
What did you expect?
Sorry, hold on. Hopefully y'all can see. Hopefully. Hold on. Shit. This interview. Go.
Something happened to Trump, right?
But something happened to all of them.
I wasn't. What did you expect from Marco Rubio?
Absolutely nothing. Exactly what we see.
Exactly. The person that I think I placed stock in was Trump. And we got played. There's no other way to say it. So to answer your question, no, I don't consider myself to be a Republican.
Yeah. And there it is. The grift. I think we got played. I think they played us. Now, you all know damn well, as smart as Candace is, as smart as Megyn Kelly is, as smart as that Sean Ryan is, you know damn well they didn't get played. They didn't get played. You know damn well. And you on that goofy train if you think they did. She ain't leaving the grifter train. She ain't leaving. Okay? She ain't apologizing. Mm-hmm. She ain't saying the people she mocked were right. She's simply changing where she stands. So when I see Candace complaining about Trump, now I'm not impressed with her. I'm watching her because she's a liar. Because I want to know how far she's willing to go. I want to know how far she's willing to dance and tap dance. Will she ever admit what she helped to do? Will she ever admit that some of the people she mocked saw things she refused to see? Will she ever admit that she helped sell millions of people a man she now says she does not recognize? Or is she just going to keep moving, keep talking, keep building the name brand, the new brand, and hope nobody remembers the old brand? Well, I remember her and Charlie Kirk selling Donald Trump to all these young men. All of them. Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, all of them. Tucker Carlson, all of them selling us Donald Trump. And before Candace Owens gets too comfortable in this new position, we need to talk about the people she left standing in the old position. Here's the problem with repositioning herself after she spent years of selling something to millions of people. She might get to move on. The people you convinced might not. Candace Owens can wake up tomorrow and change her position on Donald Trump. She can get on her platform and criticize him all day. She can call out the people around him. She can tell her audience that promises were broken and things are not what she thought they would be. He betrayed the MAGA group, the MAGA blah, blah, blah. But what about the people who listen to her? That's the part nobody ever talks about. Candace was not talking to herself all those years. She was talking to millions of people. Some of those people believed her. Some of them repeated what she said. Some of them looked at Candace Owens, a black woman, and thought maybe she knew something they did not. Maybe Trump really was being treated unfairly. Maybe the racism was exaggerated. Maybe the media really was lying about everything. Maybe black people really had been brainwashed and were on the Democratic plantation. And maybe everybody warned them about Trump really was just scared, emotional, or trapped on this fictional plantation they keep talking about. That is what influence is. And you don't get to brag about your influence when it makes you rich and famous. Then pretend you were just another person with an opinion when it's time to answer for what you influence people to do. Candace wanted to be influential. She wanted to be listened to, believed. She wanted people to follow her. Well, this is the other side of that influence. Y'all hit the like, share, and subscribe button, please and thank you. She's responsible for what she sold to us. I'm not saying Candace Owens is responsible for every person who voted for Donald Trump. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying she single-handedly put him in office. That would be ridiculous. I am saying she helped, and she wanted credit for helping when helping was good for her brand. That is the part that matters. She was proud of Blexit. She was proud when black support for Trump grew. She was proud when people said she was changing minds. She was proud to be one of the black faces of that movement. She did not stand back and then say, oh, I'm just one person. Nobody should take me seriously. No. She wanted the influence. She wanted the numbers. She wanted the attention. She wanted everybody to know that Candace Owens was helping black people leave the Democratic plantation to take another look at Donald Trump. So she cannot claim the influence when the sale is going well and then disappear from the transaction when the customer starts complaining about what the fuck they bought. That is not how this works. And this is bigger than Candace Owens. This is what political influencers do over and over again. They sell people, certainly. They tell people, I know what's happening. Everybody else is lying to you. Trust me. That's what she said. And when they're wrong, they don't come back and say I was wrong. They just change the subject. Look at Megyn Kelly. That's the most grifters, cravenous human being I ever seen. They find a new villain. They find a new scandal. They find a new audience. Or they quietly start criticizing the very thing they spent years telling everybody to trust. Meanwhile, the audience is still standing where they were. Some of the people Candace helped convince are still defending Donald Trump and his actions and his money laundering. Some of them are still calling everybody else brainwashed. I got goofies in my chat right now talking about you on the Democratic plantation. No, Donald Trump is the one. Donald Trump is the love of my life, saying bullshit like that. Some of them may not even realize that Candace has moved in another direction. And that's why I have no patience for this idea that changing her position is enough. No, if she helped sell the lie, tell the people you sold it to that you were wrong, that you were a liar. If you help convince people to trust somebody, tell them why you no longer trust them. If you spent years mocking the people who warned you, acknowledge that maybe they saw something you refuse to see. That is accountability. Not quietly changing lanes, not slowly moving your audience in another direction, not making sure you were standing in the right place when the next wave comes. Accountability means turning around and looking at the people who followed you because they're part of the story too. Candace Owens gets to reposition herself because she has money, a platform, and an audience that belongs to her now. But everybody she influenced does not have that luxury. They have to live with the government they help elect. They have to live with that bullshit that we saw in that 250 celebration this weekend. We have to live with that bullshit. We have to live with the broken promises. The reflection pool, the broken down east wing of the White House. We have to live with whatever comes next. Candace can turn on a microphone tomorrow and build a whole nother fucking brand. The country cannot just reposition itself. They can't build a whole nother country. And that is why this is not just about whether Candace Owens likes Donald Trump anymore. I really don't give a fuck whether she likes him or not. The question is whether she's ever going to take responsibility, accountability for helping sell that man. Sell whatever he had going on. Because until she does, all this complaining is just another performance. And now I have something to say directly to Candace Owens. So, Miss Candace Owens, after all of that, here's where we land. I don't care that you criticize Donald Trump now. Criticize him. If he lies, say he lies. If he breaks a promise, call it out. If the people around him are running a grift, expose every last one of them. But don't come to us looking for sympathy, okay? Because you had something most people never had. You had access. You had a platform. You had millions of people listening to you. And you used all of that to tell people that Donald Trump was the answer to our problems. Now you're disappointed. Okay, be disappointed. But disappointment is not accountability, girl. And criticism is not an apology. You don't have to become a Democrat. You don't have to suddenly agree with me. You don't even have to stop being conservative. But at some point, you need to own what the fuck you did to the black community. You need to say that you sold this man harder than most people ever could. You need to admit that when people warned you, you did not listen. You laughed. You mocked. You built a brand around being the woman who knew better than I did. And now you want to stand on the other side of it and complain. No. That's where I draw the line. You can change your position, but you cannot change history. You cannot move away from Trump, but you cannot pretend you were never standing beside him either. And you can call out every grifter in the damn room, but you don't get to leave your own name off the guest list. So I'm not celebrating anything you do. I'm not calling it growth. I'm not giving you credit for saying today what other people were saying while you were insulting them yesterday. You made your choice. You made your money from that choice. You built your brand on that choice. And now you get to live with the receipts. So Candace, keep talking. Keep exposing people. Keep telling your audience what you see. But stop whining like this happened to you. You helped to make this happen. The way our country is right now, you helped to make it happen like this. You sold us Trump. You asked for this. You asked for all of this. Okay? Hit the like, share, and subscribe, and I appreciate it. I appreciate all of y'all for showing up. Let me read a little bit of the comments, because people say I don't read no comments. I want to read some of them. Let's see what we got to say. Ladies, something is wrong with you. You're a liberal slave. Look at Daryl Jones. Retired. Okay, let me see. Get the Trump derangement ass. You still talking goofy Daryl Jones? Get off your knees, Daryl Jones. I hate when I see men on their knees for Donald Trump. I hate that. We so tired of the Negro tears. You sound dumb, Texas Pete. You see the goofiness we have in the chat? We have the goofiness in the chat. None of these people are serious nor mature. That's why I very rarely engage in these conversations in the chat, because you don't have mature people at all. Okay? My black people, I just argued with a table full of Kenyans saying we're American blacks. Oh, well, okay. This dumb super lady gets Candace on too. I don't give Candace much credit at all. But listen to this race. I'm racist. How the hell am I racist? This is so goofy. How am I racist, goofy Billy Henry, goofy? Seeing as how I never said anything about race at all. How am I racist, goofy? Y'all sound. I can't engage with some of y'all. You're just too low IQ. Is Candace married to a gay dude? That's crazy. Candace went in hard and she was canceled. They used her. Of course they used her. She wanted to be used. Candace is right where Candace wants to be. Candace is right where she wants to be. Grifting off of money. And she's making plenty of money. She got plenty of white folks and black folks over there giving her money. She's doing what she needs to do. She's one of the ultimate grifters. But she's kind of off her rocker. So, I mean, I guess that works. Let me see. I love a strong man. Oh, Trump is the man. Trump is the man. I guess he is. She's Black Rush Limbaugh. Yes, definitely that. Black Rush Limbaugh. That's what it sounds like. Candace Owens touched it. Can't believe people. Actually, yes, there's plenty of people that believe Candace Owens. Plenty of people. Okay? They believe her. Why do you think Donald Trump's supposed to do something for her? I don't expect Donald Trump to do jack shit for me. Like he hasn't done jack shit for me before. I don't think he's done jack shit for anybody except his friends. That's all. That's all he will do. It's something for his rich friends. He's not doing anything for you poor people. Let's just be clear. Donald Trump is doing nothing for you poor people. So stop holding his nuts. He's not doing anything for you poor people. Ever. ever. Okay? My Doge check bounced. Yes, it did. My Doge check bounced. Both of my Doge check bounces. Okay, Venezuela oil money check. Well, that ain't gonna happen. Donald Trump pocketed all that money. Okay, I've already had to ban someone else for it. That's wild. Yeah, just talking 2 point crazy. I don't even think I mentioned race. Hey, you, how you doing? I don't think I mentioned race, and yet and still I'm racist. That's wild. Just wild. All black MAGA are sellouts for real. Hey, that's the way I look at it, but then that's just me. Okay, that's just me. You need to read the room. Okay, a lot of these fucking idiots dumber than dirt. Yes, like a lot of you MAGA folks are dumb as dirt. I got that. You could say you need to tell. Well, you are telling the chat. Chat. He said y'all MAGA people are dumb as dirt. That's what he said. I'm just agreeing. Tucker may earn credit for being anti-Zionist, but we all have to remember he's still pro-Russia. Yes, he is, and that's why he can never be anything I believe. It's sad any black folks fell for this. Yeah, if you fell for Donald Trump, you one of those goofies that fell for it. I believe you. I believe you. Okay, last 5 Republican presidents straight into recession. Of course, Eric, of course. The last 5 presidents put us in recessions. Yes, they did. The Democrats have been better for the economy, way better than any Republican. It just is what it is. Okay. I couldn't even watch the celebration. Yeah, I couldn't even watch the celebration either. I was just too embarrassed to turn it on. I seen somebody jumped out of the plane and fell into a crowd of people and crashed. I mean, I just could not even. It was just too embarrassed. It was too embarrassing. I don't understand. It was just too embarrassing. Okay. FBA cult leaders sold Donald Trump to yes, they did. They sold Donald Trump to black folk. And not one thing has he done positive for black folk. Not one thing. He's never done anything for black folks. Not positively anyway. So, praising the anti-black racist is extremely corny if you're black. Yes, it is. Goofy. Russia created Trump. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. I respect it. And once Candace started asking about Israel, she was hired by Ben. She has continued to ask because when Evans changed her view. Yes, she's a grifter. Raheem Grimes. That's what a grifter does. They change their opinions with the tide. She changes her opinion. Okay, Trump is a piece of yeah, of course. Hey, you. They only call you racist because you're speaking of a situation where they clearly the villain. In fact, I haven't mentioned race in this at all. How am I racist? I don't understand. But anytime you criticize somebody that may be on the conservative side, you're racist somehow. If you're black, you're racist. If you criticize the conservative side, and you MAGA people ain't even conservative anyway. So I don't believe nothing y'all got to say. No way. Y'all not conservative. John McCain was conservative. Mitt Romney is conservative. You guys are just grifters. You guys are in a cult. I don't believe what you guys say anyway, because you don't know how to decipher people. Anyway, once again, Trump and his ignorant IQ. Shut up. If you like my content, please hit the like, share, and subscribe. I will be back with more content probably tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. I don't know, but it won't be tonight. I just won't be able to do it. And I appreciate you guys coming over this morning. And I will see you in the next video. I appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate you guys for showing up this morning. I appreciate you guys. I do.